Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the 2021 Tacoma TRD Off-Road. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this Tacoma. Check out the inventory on the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the TRD Tacoma, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 278 horsepower and then 265 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of the TRD Tacoma. So you just get the traditional hood. You don't get the cool sport hood or anything. You'd have to get the TRD Sport for that. But you still can get the full LED lights like this one has, and comes with the cool little turn signals. That's, I don't know, I think it's pretty cool with the overall look of that. Got the fog lights just down below, and you've got the Toyota logo with a little camera right down below it. And then I love this, just kind of like how it comes up right here. It almost looks like a lip. I don't know, it's just a pretty cool look in my opinion. And then if you guys peek really far down there, you can actually see the tow hook right there in the front, which is pretty well hidden underneath the truck. But other than that, this is the front end on the TRD. Now coming around the side here, you've got two 65mm tires wrapped around 16-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then on top of that, we actually have Bilstein shocks with off-road tuned suspension. That's part of this TRD off-road package. And then you can see the tires are a little bit more on the aggressive side. And then as for the design on the wheels, they kind of go for that like off-roader look. And then we've got these fender flares on the side of the truck just for added protection, and it also looks cool. And then you got the Tacoma logo right there, body painted mirrors, and then you got the TRD 4x4 off-road badge there on the back. But yeah, other than that, that is the side of the Tacoma. $50% of the time, it works 100% of the time. Let's go into the bed of the Tacoma. You actually get this nice composite bed, which I think is a pretty cool little feature. So everything's all nice and protected. And then under here, there's actually a full outlet, which is another nice little thing. And then this does come with a tonneau cover, so you can have everything in your bed protected. If you guys are wondering, the payload capacity with this truck is about 990 pounds. Now let's go over the rest of the rear of the Tacoma. So first off, we have the signature lights here in the rear. So they're LEDs here for part of the light. And then I really like the blacked out accenting there on the side of it. And then again, you got the little TRD 4x4 off-road sticker. You got all of your regular badging here. You got the V6 badge, so people know you got the bigger engine. And then this truck does come with parking sensors. You got the exhaust tip sticking out the back end. Now in terms of the towing capacity, it's about 6,400 pounds with this truck. And other than that, that's the rear end. Now let's pop into the rear of the Tacoma. So you actually get this kind of like interesting soft touch here. There's like an interesting look at, hopefully you guys can see the texture on that. You got the regular window control, nothing too crazy there. And then you got the seats here. So soft touch over most of the seats. I really like this kind of like design here in this portion of the seat. And by the way, since these seats are black and with the texture on them, they'd be super easy to clean off. But let's actually pop in. So stepping in, it's really easy to get into Tacomas because they're not too high off the ground. I'm 5'11", and I like barely fit back here, but I fit. That's all that matters. My legs though, a little bit more on the cramped side. And then you do get a couple of cup holders, but this is the back of the Tacoma TRD. Here's a door panel at the front of the Tacoma. So again, you got that same texture here in the front. It's kind of just interesting looking. All of your window controls right here with your mirror adjustment. And then we've got the seats here at the front. So again, all the soft touch, really easy to clean off. Got the cool texture there on the center portion. And you got these nice bolsters here, which are relatively soft. There's your power adjustments on the side of the seat. You get your Tacoma TRD off-road floor mats to remind yourself that you got the TRD. Got the little pedals right there, and then you can see you've got the cargo light here. This is for the outlet there in the back. Your stability control, this is for the camera system. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Here's the steering wheel in the Tacoma TRD Off-Road. So again, you got the nice kind of like rougher touch there at the top, and then you got the perforated leather there on the side. You got your controls for the center stack, pages button for that. You got your collision assistance, and then your lane departure assistance, cruise control just peeping there in the background. And then you got your phone controls, you got your voice command, volume controls, all that. Got the little stock for the lights, and then the stock for the windshield wiper on the other side. But that is the steering wheel in the Tacoma. Now here is the center gauge cluster. You've got the RPMs over there on the left side. On the right side, you've got the speed, and then you do have that little center screen, which you can scroll through a couple of different menus. Again, nothing too crazy with the center screen itself, just gives you bits of information on the truck. And well, that's all, folks. Here's the center screen. So first off, we'll pop it into reverse. As you can see, you've got a backup camera that's got the trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And then notice that the little image right there also has the little lines that'll turn with it with the bird's eye view, which is pretty neat. And then you can change if you just want the camera on a little bit bigger screen for that. The overall camera system on it's pretty solid. And then you guys do remember there was that little camera button, which is just right over here. So if we actually press that button, then it'll pop up with the little camera view out the front, and then also give you a bird's eye view. And it does have the little trajectory lines with that front view. Then you press it again and it gives you little side views. So overall, I think that's pretty neat. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time on it is pretty good with the buttons on the side and then also with the buttons on the screen. It's not as quick as Toyota's newer infotainment systems, but I mean, it still gets the job done. You can still pair your phone to it and use it for regular infotainment system stuff. Got this whole area with a bunch of controls. So we've got our little heated seat controls right here, and then you've got your controls for the dual zone climate just down below, and then we've got some more controls here in this little area. So you've got your blind spot monitoring, you got your parking sensors, little rear sliding window, so you press that and that'll open up the window, and then you got the little USB right here, and then we do have a 12 volt just underneath that one. But yeah, bunch of little controls here. And I almost forgot, driveline selects. You got your 2-wheel drive, your 4-wheel high, and then your 4-wheel low. I've got a bunch of stuff here in this area. We actually do get a wireless phone charger, which is pretty neat. A couple cup holders. Got the shifter for the 6-speed automatic, and again, you can shift the gears yourself if you'd like. Got your regular parking brake. More cup holders. Then we got this center console here, which, you know, has a decent amount of storage space. You have a little thread through for a cable right there. And then coming over to the glove box, pretty regular glove box, decent amount of storage space. You got more of that like rubbery trim just up above, and then you do have the circular vents in the Tacoma, which is pretty neat. We do have some fun stuff up here. So first off, we got a regular sunroof, nothing crazy happening with that. And then you do have the locker for the rear. Again, it's got to have the off-road stuff, controls for the sunroof. And then we got a crawl control, and then kind of like your off-road cruise control, and then you got little dial stuff like that. And it tells you what to do. So like if I press the crawl control, it pops up here in the center screen telling me what to do to be able to actually activate that system. And same thing with the other one. It'll tell me, hey, shift into 4-wheel low. So pretty seamless system. Press the buttons, play with it on the off-road, and that's all. Now we're done going the interior on this Tacoma TRD Off-Road. Let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this truck stickers for about $45,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take this Taco out and see how it drives. Talk about visibility before we set off here in this Tacoma TRD Off-Road. So visibility is pretty good over the hood. You got the visibility through both mirrors, and they do have blind spot monitoring. Then here's all throughout the rest of the rear. So visibility in this truck is pretty solid, and well, let's set off. We are setting off here in this Tacoma TRD Off-Road, and let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality to start things off. So from a ride quality perspective, let's kind of go over a couple things first. Yeah, it's pretty good. I just drove a Tacoma SR5, and this doesn't really feel like it rides too much different from that. This might be slightly rougher. Yeah, it's a little bit rougher compared to the SR5, but it's not a huge difference. If you didn't drive these back to back like I just did, then you wouldn't be able to actually tell the difference. And then in terms of the noise that comes into the cabin, there's not a whole lot of wind noise that comes in, and tire noise, it's a little bit more than that SR5, but it's not bad by any means. It's pretty much rated at average for a truck. We'll see it, the brakes are like coming up here. I love the pedal actuation. It's a smaller size truck, so it stops relatively quick. I noticed the camera never turned off. That's pretty neat. The camera, so I put it in like auto mode, so basically what it'll do is it'll just pop it on for me, which I think is pretty cool. The thing I hate about my Raptor is it limits with the camera. It almost makes it so that it's impossible to use half the time, and you have to be going extremely slow speeds for it to basically be in use, and it doesn't automatically pop on like this. So that's a pretty cool little feature that Ford needs to take some advice, and hopefully you guys can see the turn signal and the reflection on that car, because that's also pretty cool. We are going to be getting our acceleration. I am in the manual mode. The Tacoma doesn't have a sport mode or anything like that, so we're just in the manual mode. Yeah, so the gear shifts are actually pretty smooth. I kind of mentioned this in my SR5 review as well. Not the quickest shifting transmission, but it definitely gets the job done from a shifting perspective. A little bit on the slower side, but it still has a kind of like nice, smooth, you know, shifting procedure to it. And then if we actually slow down here quite a bit, I'll do the acceleration again in the automatic mode so you guys can see the difference between the automatic mode and the manual shift mode. So, I mean, it's sixes, you know, if you'd rather do the gears yourself or if you'd rather the truck do it. Most of the time you're probably gonna drive in automatic mode unless you're going downhill or something where you need it to be in a lower gear. But that all being said, let's actually sum things up here with the Tacoma. So if you're looking for kind of like an entry-level off-road truck, this is a really good truck to look into. From a price point perspective, it's actually pretty decent. For all the features you get, it's a little bit more on the loaded up side for a mid-sized truck at least. And so it's a truck that you could build some stuff off of, maybe get a little bit more aggressive tires, maybe lift it or something, change out the suspension, which, you know, wouldn't be a crazy amount of money. And then the other thing I really like about this is, and I mentioned this in all my Tacoma reviews, is even though this is an older truck, I really like the look of this. Especially with these LED lights, it's a really good looking truck. And I know that they've had this out for quite some time, but there's no complaints from me, to be honest. Like, I just think that it's a good looking truck, and I feel like it's aged very well with this platform. I know some people want a new truck, but I don't know. I think from the appearance perspective, it's a good looking truck. The interior is perfect. So a lot of people might complain and be like, oh, it doesn't have the nice leather and this and that. And it's like, well, it's an off-road package, so it's gonna have, you know, these materials like this and everything that's durable and is easy to clean and stuff like that. And that's what I want in an off-road truck. I don't want the nicest interior. I want something that is going to be easy to clean when I do take it off-road and get mud and dirt in it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for an entry-level off-road mid-sized truck, this is definitely a good one to look into. That's going to sum things up with our video on this 2021 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this Tacoma. Check out the inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.